etymology. The Elio are the third type of Nephilim, also translated as godlings, and referred to as men of renown. These may have been the original heroes that gave rise to legends such as Hercules, Perseus, and so many others. Chapter 7. And all of them together went and took wives for themselves, each choosing one for himself, and they began to go into them and to defile themselves with sex with them. Genesis chapter 5, verse 32. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begat Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 through 6. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the angels taught them charms and spells, and the cutting of roots, and made them acquainted with plants. And the women became pregnant, and they bare large giants, whose height was 3,000 cubits, ells. 1 Qumran 23, fragment 9, plus 14, plus 15. They knew the secrets of sin was great in the earth, and they killed many. They begat giants. Jubilees, chapter 7, verses 21 through 25. Because of these three things came the flood on the earth, namely, the fornication that the watchers committed against the law of their ordinances, when they went whoring after the daughters of men, and took themselves wives of all they chose, and they made the beginning of uncleanness. And they begat sons, the Nephilim, Nephidim, and they were all dissimilar, and they devoured one another. And the giants killed the Nephil, and the Nephil killed the Elio, and the Elio killed mankind, and one man killed one another. Every one committed himself to crime and injustice, and to shed much blood, and the earth was filled with sin. After this they sinned against the beasts and birds, and all that moved and walked on the earth, and much blood was shed on the earth, and men continually desired only what was useless and evil. And the Lord destroyed everything from the face of the earth, because of the wickedness of their deeds, and because of the blood they had shed over all the earth. He destroyed everything. The giants consumed all the work and toil of men, and when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. 4 Qumran 531, fragment 3. Everything that the earth produced, the great fish, the sky with all that grew, fruit of the earth, and all kinds of grain and all the trees, beasts and reptiles, all creeping things of the earth, and they observed all, every harsh deed and utterance, male and female, and among humans. The giants are another Nephilim type, and they were simply men of great stature, and they began to sin against birds and beasts and reptiles and fish, and to devour one another's flesh, and drank the blood. 1 Qumran 23, fragment 1 plus 6. 200 donkeys, 200 asses, 200 rams of the flock, 200 goats, 200 beasts of the field from every animal, from every bird, from miscegenation, inbreeding of people, considered to be of different races. 4th Qumran 531, Fragment 2. They defiled. They begot giants and monsters. They begot, and behold, all the earth was corrupted, with its blood and by the hand of giants which did not satisfy the man. And they were seeking to devour many. The monsters attacked it. Then the earth laid accusation against the lawless ones. Jasher, chapter 2, verses 19 through 22. For in those days the sons of men began to trespass against God, and to go contrary to the commandments which he had given Adam, to be prolific and reproduce in the earth. And some of the sons of men caused their wives to drink a mixture that would render them unable to conceive, in order that they might retain their figures, and their beautiful appearance might not fade. And when the sons of men caused some of their wives to drink, Zillah drank with them, and the childbearing women appeared abominable in the sight of their husbands, and they treated them as widows, while their husbands lived with those unable to conceive, and to those women they were attached. Genesis, chapter 4, verses 8 through 12. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and slew him. And the Lord said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. Some of the Nephilim wreaked havoc on mankind, and Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and taught them about metals of the earth and the art of working them, and bracelets and ornaments, and the use of antimony, and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of precious stones, and all coloring and dyes. And there was great impiety. They turned away from God, and committed fornication, and they were led astray, and became corrupt in all their ways. Matthew, chapter 5, verse 19, New International Version. Anyone who breaks one of the least of these commandments, and teaches others to do the same, will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever practices and teaches these commands will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Semjaza taught the casting of spells and root cuttings. Armoros taught counter spells, release from spells. Barakijal taught astrology. Kokabel taught the constellations, portents. Ezekiel, the knowledge of the clouds. Erakiel, the signs of the earth. Shamsiel, the signs of the sun. And Sariel, the course of the moon. And as men perished, they cried, and their cry went up to heaven. Jasher, chapter 4, verses 18 through 20. And their judges and rulers went to the daughters of men, and took their wives by force from their husbands according to their choice. And the sons of men in those days took from the cattle of the earth, the beasts of the field, and the fowls of the air, and taught the mixture of animals of one species with the other, in order therewith to provoke the Lord. And God saw the whole earth, and it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted its ways on earth, all men and all animals. And the Lord said, I will blot out man that I created from the face of the earth, yea, from man to the birds of the air, together with cattle and beasts that are in the field, for I repent that I made them. And all men who walked in the ways of the Lord died in those days, before the Lord brought the evil on man which he had declared. For this was from the Lord, that they should not see the evil which the Lord spoke of concerning the sons of men. Chapter 9. And then Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down from heaven and saw much blood being shed on the earth, and all lawlessness being done on the earth. And they said to each other, "Let the cries from the destruction of earth ascend up to the gates of heaven. And now to you, the holy ones of heaven, the souls of men make their petition, saying, Bring our cause before the Most High." And they said to the Lord of the ages, "Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings, and God of the ages, the throne of your glory endures through all the generations of the ages, and your name holy and glorious and blessed to all the ages." 1 Timothy chapter 6, verses 15 and 16. "Which in his times he shall shew, who is the blessed and only potentate, the King of kings and Lord of lords, who only hath immortality, dwelling in the light which no man can approach unto, whom no man hath seen, nor can see, to whom be honor and power everlasting. Amen." "You have made all things, and you have power over all things, and all things are revealed and open in your sight, and you see all things, and nothing can hide itself from you. Look at what Azazel has done, who hath taught all unrighteousness on earth, and revealed the eternal secrets which were made and kept in heaven, which men were striving to learn. And Simjaza, who taught spells, to whom you gave authority to rule over his associates. And they have gone to the daughters of men on the earth, and have had sex with the women, and have defiled themselves, and revealed to them all kinds of sin." Genesis chapter 6, verse 4. "There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. The same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. And the women have borne giants, and the whole earth has thereby been filled with blood and unrighteousness." 4th Qumran 5:32, column 2, fragments 1 through 6. "Flesh, all, monsters, will be. They would arise, lacking in true knowledge, because the earth grew corrupt. Mighty, they were considering, from the angels upon. In the end it will perish and die. They caused great corruption in the earth. This did not suffice to. They will be." Genesis chapter 6, verses 5 and 6. "And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And now, behold, the souls of those who have died are crying out and making their petition to the gates of heaven, and their lament has ascended, and cannot cease because of the lawless deeds which are done on the earth. And you know all things before they come to pass, and you see these things, and you have permitted them, and say nothing to us about these things. What are we to do with them about these things?" Revelation chapter 6, verse 10, New International Version. "They called out in a loud voice, How long, sovereign Lord, holy and true, until you judge the inhabitants of the earth and avenge our blood?" The archangels Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel all seem to be assigned to the specific fall of man. Michael is known as the angel of peace, often depicted as a warrior, and appears in Revelation leading the angels against the dragon. Gabriel is known as the messenger angel, or angel of revelation. He is said to have delivered news of the births of Jesus, Isaac, and John the Baptist, as well as aiding Daniel as he interpreted his vision. Raphael is known as the angel of healing. He only appears in Enoch and the Book of Tobit, where he takes the form of Azariah.